Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Audibly Fat coming to you live from beautiful Colorado. As always, what the fuck's up? We got a big show today. Got to get one in, get one out. Got some things to go over here. I'm going to streamline this episode so I don't ramble like the last couple. Got some topics to go over, and then we'll get out of here. But yeah, this is Audibly Fat, and welcome to the show, bitch. You know what it is. It's Sopranos week.
That's the guy.
Nah, I'm just kidding. Oh, man. Hopefully I don't get taken down. I'll have to cut out the beginning of this episode. If you didn't hear it, that was the Sopranos theme song. The Many Saints of Newark came out last night. Our mom came over. I grew up watching HBO Sundays. So, of course, she came over just like old times. We all got together and watched The Sopranos. Got up early yesterday, went to the store. Went and got some short ribs, some shoulder, some sausage, the Calabrian chilies, Calabrese. People say, I don't know, whatever. Made some Sunday gravy. Made some rigatoni, got some French bread, some butter, some salad. Did it right. If you're going to watch Sopranos, if you're going to watch it, you have to do it right. They didn't have any fucking gabagool at the deli. So, settled for gravy. Got to make Sunday gravy. You know what? One day I'm going to post a video of how to cook Sunday gravy in every step, and I'll put it on the page. But yeah, there's nothing, you can't eat anything else. There's nothing else that's appropriate to eat. It's a New Jersey staple. It's a New Jersey Italian staple. Can't go wrong, man. So we fired that up. All excited, of course. Huge Sopranos fan. Love The Sopranos. Every time you watch it, it gets better. It genuinely gets better as a show. It's pretty remarkable. Everybody knows it's been ad nauseum why The Sopranos is the shit. It's the only reason all of our other favorite shows exist, like The Wire and Breaking Bad, and be honest with you, those are the only shows even on that level. Better Call Saul is really, really good. It's on the level of Breaking Bad. But The Sopranos is supreme, man. Nothing's on that level. The Wire, honestly, The Wire is the only thing that you could even argue is on the level of The Sopranos. And that's just the reality of the situation. There's not, as Steve Williams would say, hey, there's nothing better than The Sopranos. That's as good as television will ever be. And he's not wrong. I don't know if you'd ever say that. I don't know if you watch The Sopranos, but that's how he spoke. He spoke like, hey, at the end of the day, Peyton Manning's going to throw the ball. Water is wet. Said obvious things and acted as if he was a profound thinker. But yeah, so an obvious thing would be The Sopranos is the best show ever made. And the only thing comparable is The Wire. Yeah, fired that up. We got all excited. We made fucking food. We got our pasta. We sat down, fired it up, and it was good, man. There was a lot of wasted time. I felt like there was too many callbacks, too many throwbacks, too many. It was cool, obviously, the constant references and the constant nods and the constant characters and people and names and just references, constant references. It was cool, but it was like almost too much. And then when it wasn't making references, it was just, I don't know, man. Like I'm not the best critic of movies because I don't really like a lot of movies, dude. Like, I think I've said this before. I hate most movies that are made nowadays. I mean, because everything's Star Wars and Marvel and all this garbage, fucking child shit. That's pretty much, and everyone's obsessed with all of it. And even still, even the high art, even the classics, like Stanley Kubrick's awful. Like I don't get it. The Shining's good, sure, but that's a Stephen King story, and I get he shot it and whatever, man. The Clockwork Orange is a terrible movie. I don't know if I've said this before. I talk about it anytime anybody brings it up. It's a fucking horrible movie. It is not a good movie. It is not a good movie in any sense. It is not interesting. It is not funny. It is not entertaining. It's not thought provoking. It's just retarded. It's mean and retarded. So I just don't see the allure of that. 2001: A Space Odyssey is fucking boring and awful. God damn, that movie's awful, awful, awful. And everyone jerks that movie off to no end. And then Stanley Kubrick's a piece of shit. Like, he psychologically broke the chick that made The Shining. Like, his best movie, it cost like human life to make. So fuck that dude. I just don't. His movies, I don't know, man. I just don't get it. I don't. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I understand some movies are great. Like, The Pianist is a great movie. That's a good movie. Forrest Gump is a really good movie. That's a really, really good movie. I don't know. I don't think actors I don't consider it high art. I don't consider anything you could possibly do pretending and making faces and shadows and cinematography and lighting. That is not high art. It's just not. You might tell yourself it is. Pop culture might tell you it is, but in a grand context, it's not. Think about all the plays that have ever been written throughout human history, all the things that have been acted out and stories that have been told. Like, the only one we know of past 100 and 200 years old is Shakespeare. Like, it's not going to hold up. It's garbage. Anybody could do it. There's a reason every elementary school has a theater group, because anybody could do it. It's like cooking. It's like me. I used to think I was really, it's impressive that I can cook. I can cook better than most people, but anybody can cook. You just haven't tried. Being a good actor is pretending well and lying well. I can do that. I've done that in real life, in real situations. I've gotten myself out of jail, so I know I can act. I drove without a license for 12 years and did illegal shit. I used to steal shit. I've been questioned by the police, you know what I mean? Like, over a decade ago. But I've definitely, acting is definitely a thing. I've been pulled over more times than I can count without a license. Some of those times without insurance or even registration, and most of the time with at least weed in my car, if not shrooms or something else. Yeah, like I know I can act. Like, I don't need to. So I don't see the allure of it. I don't see the celebrity of it. I don't see the worship of it. Like, don't get me wrong, Tony Soprano's is shit. I just said I like The Sopranos. It's great. It's a great show. James Gandolfini was dope. But it's like, I don't know. I'm not like a James Gandolfini fan. It was a bummer when he died. It was a bummer because I knew they couldn't make more shit. That's what it was. It wasn't, because you feel bad, you have empathy for another human, but it's not like, I don't know, man. I'm not the best critic of movies, is pretty much what I'm trying to say. Because I don't really care. It's just not, I don't know. I saw Jurassic Park when I was 4 or 5, and that shit was lit. Like, that shit was dope. And then you outgrow action movies, but that ruined tons of things. And I like the first Star Wars, or whatever you guys call the first Star Wars, not the one from 1972 or 76. I'm talking about the one from 1999. That one was dope. The one with Jar Jar Binks. That was the best one. The pod racers, the subsequent video games and merchandise that was out. When my dad took me to Burger King because he was a Burger King guy, and then when my mom took me to Taco Bell because she was a Taco Bell lady, the all that swag was dope, and then everyone was like, ew, you like the fit, and then I was like, so I couldn't be a fan of it even when I started to, because fans hated it. So I was already a backwards fan, and it's just like, all right, so I got out of that within weeks of liking it, and weeks of like, okay, this isn't for me, and bouncing the fuck out. And then you grow up and you realize like Star Wars is awful, and then you know, when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, you try and get into the classics. You try and, you know, like you try and see like I said, Stanley Kubrick movies. You watch Apocalypse Now. You try and watch the movies that people tell you should like, that tell you that they inspired the modern da-da-da-da-das. I like Tarantino movies, but even those don't. I'm not young anymore, so I try. You watch them like Reservoir Dogs. Even when I was younger, I didn't like it very much. That was my least favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. And then Django's unwatchable, just because of the context. You're like, all right. You know, Inglourious Bastards fun and stupid, but he doesn't take him. There's something about Quentin Tarantino that doesn't take himself seriously. That's why he makes things like Inglourious Bastards. But then again, I don't know. I didn't really get into the Hateful Eight. And then the one about the Charles Manson with Leo DiCaprio and Brad, that one was all right. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it was fine. It was all right. It wasn't. I've seen it once. It's not something I'd ever watch again. It's like Pulp Fiction. It doesn't hold up like Pulp Fiction. Like, but it's all right. Nah, I mean, whatever. I don't know. It was fine. Anyways, talking about The Sopranos. I'm critiquing my ability to critique, but fuck you, man. I can critique all this shit. Otherwise, everything would just be good. People have to be able to say, no, that's not very good. No, that's great. And it's also subjective. It's also like ice cream. Me saying I don't like vanilla ice cream doesn't mean vanilla ice cream isn't good. It just means I don't like it. But The Sopranos, it was all right, man. I like the story. I don't know if I want to spoil it. No one's going to listen to this. I'll fucking spoil it. Who gives a shit? Spoiler alert, you know. Here, this is the button I'll play for spoiler alert.
Gabagool. Over here.
There you go. That's the spoiler alert. The Junior plotline was great. I like that. It makes sense. Junior, it goes with who Junior is as a character, how petty he was, and how vindictive he was, and how really conniving and sneaky he was. It falls in line with everything he did with Livia, with everything he did with Tony. You know, if it wasn't for Tony, Chris would have been laid out, you know, in season 1. So yeah, I like that. I like the main plot line. I like the way it ties into the show. I like what it sets up. I get it. I liked it, but I didn't like the time they focused on Hollywood Dick and his wife, and then him falling in love with his stepmom, and there's always too much time on this Italian. It's just like The Sopranos. I love The Sopranos, but my least favorite scenes are the Gumadas. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Those are the scenes where I'm always just like, all right, whatever. I couldn't care less about those scenes. I just don't relate to it. I don't know. I don't have an apartment with another chick, I guess, and I just don't have. My dad's never dated anybody that I've ever been like, wow, I want to be with you. You know, so those, I'm always just like, all right, we can wrap this up in like 3-minute scenes, not 5 9-minute scenes. And like, okay, well now 52 minutes of the movie is just dedicated to this bitch learning English and just trying to give sexy eyes with a beehive haircut. And it's just like, all right, can we just and then the guy who plays the girl who played Livia Soprano, Tony's mom, was great. She's always good. The bitch from The Departed, she's great. I don't know why. She always has that one. She was just good. She's in a lot of scary movies and shit. She was good in this, but she's a good actor. I suppose she was good in this. Who is it? The dude from The Punisher, the dude from Shot Caller. See, Shot Caller, good movie. That's an objectively good movie. Uncut Gems, objectively good movie. Those two guys, whoever directed those, and then the guy who made Midsommar and Hereditary, those are good movies. That guy, I like his shit. So I mean, I don't completely hate everything, but I don't see the jerking off of Apocalypse Now and Marlon Brando and Kubrick, like fucking boring as fuck, dude. All of it, every second of those movies is so. God, you could hear the clock going, tick, 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 like it's fucking terrible. Ugh. So I like some shit. But the dude who was in Shot Caller, Punisher, I don't know his fucking name. I'm not gonna bother to learn it. Who knows? He played Johnny Soprano. He's fucking awful. That guy is an awful, awful, awful actor. I don't know why he's put in anything. I don't know why he's involved in anything other than something like The Punisher or something like hey, I need you to play a Nazi in prison. I need you to play a neo-Nazi. I need you to play a white supremacist. Like, those make sense. He had no business in this movie. He's like Samuel L. Jackson. There's no depth. There's no range. He's going to be what he's going to be. It's that, period. Yeah, I just don't, what the fuck is this guy doing here? He's nothing like Johnny in the show. He's nothing like the way Tony described his dad. It's just like, and then he had this weird mustache. And he could not change the way he spoke at all. Like, he just had to be like, I'm a prisoner, like, just, I'm the street guy. I'm the fucking tough guy. And it's just like, that's not Tony. Tony's dad wasn't like that in the show. His dad was, but he wasn't. Fucking weird. It was just awful. That guy's a terrible actor. He had no business being there. Yeah, Ray Liotta, they kill him, and then he comes back as a twin. Like, dun dun dun. That was fine. I get it. It was fine. That's pretty much how I felt about it. It was fine. I had higher expectations for it, and that's my fault. Every time something fucking sucks, people go, you thought it was going to be something it wasn't. And then it's like, no, man, like, it was too much references to The Sopranos. Like, Silvio was awful. Silvio Dante was awful. Paulie was awful. He was way too young. It was just like, I was like, what's happening here? Either Silvio's too old or Paulie's too young. This shit's just off. And it just, I don't know. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's my fault for expecting too much. And then, I mean, Jackie Aprile, where the fuck is he? Where's Richie Aprile? This is weird. It was just weird. It was nostalgic, and like, I found myself like, oh, Artie Bucco, But I guess it's my fault for expecting too much. But it was fine. Gandolfini's kid's good. He didn't do anything wrong. The kid did good. You want to root for him. It's one of those kids. It's because he's James Gandolfini's kid, you like want to like him almost. You know what I mean? So you give him the benefit of any doubt. And he actually was good. It was fine. It was fine. I don't know. I didn't really understand. They didn't really have a plot, dude. It didn't, other than it set up Junior, but there should have been more Junior. It should have been more Junior and more Dickie, and they didn't have to be more heavy-handed with how petty, and you could tell he hated Dickie and was going to be the downfall of Dickie, but it's still, I don't know, there should have just been more depth to it, more screen time. It was too quick. Is that what it was? Every scene, I found myself like listening, and it's over. Listening, and it it was trying to cram too much into 2 hours. I felt like it should have been longer. I felt like it should have been another 30 minutes. Because when it ended, you're kind of like, wait, what? Like, it just needed to, it was too rushed. And I don't know if it's because this dude doesn't make movies, or this, it's not written to be a movie, and it's better as a show. Yeah, I just think, unless it's setting up a series, because I don't know, when I looked it up earlier, because I wanted to see what Joey Diaz, the character of his name, before he could blow his head blown off. I was like, what even was his name? It says that the first article, when you type in the Many Saints of Newark, is David Chase just signed a 5-year deal. To stay with HBO or something, or Warner or whatever. Every conglomerate has merged into a super conglomerate. So who knows what he signed? But apparently, hopefully, they're making more. I guess with the Gandolfini kid. That'd be cool. Yeah. So it felt like it was setting that up. I guess it makes sense in that context, but it it was fine. I don't know. It was fine. I guess it was fine. But in other news, all right, I had topics. Where are my fucking notes? I got notes in this bitch. Try not to ramble. If I'm gonna get hate for anything, it's Stanley Kubrick hate. But who gives a fuck? That guy's trash. Fucking idiot. Blow me. And you know what? I think my expectations might have been too high. It's just like Game of Thrones. The books are so good that you expected the show to just live up to it, and then those fucking two retards completely just destroyed it and gave up. They completely gave up and just like got it done too quickly. Wrap this up. Let's wrap this up. And then you always end up blaming yourself. It's like my wife with recycling. I was telling her the other day that recycling's fake and that they did all this. They lied to you with all this, all these campaigns since the 70s, that, oh, you just don't separate it well. That's why we can't recycle. Oh, it's on the normal guy. Like those are all things started by the plastics industries themselves, the plastic companies themselves, the petroleum companies themselves. Yeah, it's like she takes the blame. She blames herself for the pollution in the world. And it's just like me. I blame myself for when these fucking people can't make a movie. Or they can't, tell a story or not fuck up a show. What were my topics? Dude, in my notes, I have indigo children, ? Because somebody, I was listening to something, somebody just mentioned it so casually. Like it was just known facts. And I was like, indigo children? What the fuck's an indigo children? I could swear there's some shit on like Oprah back in the day. These were kids that were like in tune with supernatural shit or something, but it just says indigo children with a ? Because I don't know. I guess it's me telling myself to look it up. Oh, my wife's calling me. 1 second. And we're back. That was the other night when they introduced Jon Jones right before he stepped in the cage to beat the shit out of his ugly ass wife. Dude, they've been engaged for fucking 20 years. Dude, what a cocksucker he is. I'm talking about Jon Jones. I don't know if you looked into it, but he got inducted to the Hall of Fame the other day. And his daughter called the cops, or had security called the cops, because he was beating the shit out of her mom. God, this guy is such a fucking scumbag, dude. So I've gone through every phase of Jon. When Jon Jones was fighting on Versus, when Jon Jones and Cain Velasquez were coming up and fighting people, this is before the Stephan Bonner fight. This is even before the Mark Hamill fight, or Matt Hamill fight. I was a Jon Jones fan. I knew who he was. I knew who his brothers were. And I was like, dude, this kid's going to be the champion. Same with Cain Velasquez. You just knew. You just knew he was young, and he was like Mexican Fedor, and he was just going to run through people, and he did. So I was a Jon Jones fan, and Jon Jones, I became a fan of Jon Jones really quickly, but the thing that stopped it, I knew he was going to be the champion, but then they put him against Shogun, and I was a Shogun fan from the Pride days, and Shogun had just beat Lyoto, so I liked Rashad. Rashad lost to Lyoto, and then I was like, man, I don't really like Machida. And then Machida, I thought, lost the first Shogun fight. So I was really, Shogun. And then Shogun beats Machida, knocks him out in the second fight. And I was like, fuck yeah, Shogun's finally vindicated. You know what I mean? He's the shit. And then they're like, all right, well, you're going to fight Jon. You might have had a fight in between that, but fuck. I was like, all right, well, this is not going to end well. And so the Jon Jones era began. So I was a huge fan, knew he was going to be the champion, but then that coincided with him beating legends I liked. And then I liked, so then I began to root, and I'm an underdog. I'm a perpetual underdog guy. So when Jon was up and coming and an underdog himself, I liked him. And then he beat Shogun, and I rooted against him in that fight, even though I knew Shogun was going to lose. I knew Machida was going to lose. I knew Rampage was going to lose. I rooted for all those guys. I began to root against Jon, and then Jon became Jon. Jon started doing what he did, and Jon became the steroid user, hitting pregnant ladies with his car, just being a wild, wild, wild dude. And then I used to listen to Joe Rogan's show like back in like 2009 when he was doing it on Ustream. I used to go to Ustream and listen to it. And back then, things might be edited now, or maybe they're not, but he would always allude to Jon doing crazy shit in Vegas at like hotel rooms, and like Joey Diaz would allude to it. These dudes, you know what I mean? Like I knew they were talking about Jon. Jon's just a wild motherfucker, man, and so that's cool. I was a wild dude too, so I related to that. But then just I never hit a pregnant lady in my car, and then it became really easy to hate the dude. And then you realize, like, no, and then DC really, really got to him and cut him down and saw right through him and called him out on his bullshit and really exposed Jon for who he was. And then you let it go, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter, so you move on with your life. And then Jon always fucked up, and every time he'd fuck up, it was just funny. Like UFC 200, the getting banned, and then he'd constantly come back and redeem himself. And like, how many times has Jon come back and been like, this is the comeback. This is him coming back and learning from his mistakes. I could hear Rogan. I could hear Goldberg and Anik and these dudes and Dana and Jon and the promo. I can hear it. It's probably happened twice, so there's going to be a third one now because he just beat the shit out of his wife again. Like, how many times are going to give this guy a fucking excuse? This guy's a fucking piece of shit. He's a menace. He literally should be in prison. If he was poor, he'd be in prison. Not saying that prison's good or poor people deserve prison, but fuck, dude. His own daughter's like, call the police. He's out of control. Like, you're a fucking... Dude, I said it in the group chat. Jon Jones is a fucking faggot. I'm going to say it right now. This guy is a fucking piece of shit, man. Like, yeah, he beat the shit out of everybody. It's just like DC. Yeah, of course you're... You're a better fighter than DC. You're athletically superior. You're physically superior. You're more gifted than Daniel Cormier. But Daniel Cormier got to you. That's why you took that hate and you beat him over the fucking head with it, is because he cut you down, because he saw through your shit, because he exposed Jon. I'm talking to you, Jon. Now I'm talking to you directly, Jon. But dude, what a dirtbag this guy is. It's truly remarkable. So I bring this all up to say, this isn't my judgment of another man. I've done bad things. I've stolen. I've done the wrong thing. And I've gone 13 years of trying to go the other direction and be a better person. But when I was young, I was stupid, dude. Very stupid. Up until, early 20. 20, 21, 22. I was a very dumb person and not a good. I won't even defend it. Not a good person. But I'm not. You're not the total sum of your mistakes. I don't continue to make my mistakes into my 30s after I've acquired a family and wealth. Like, if anything, acquiring a home, a 4-level, 3-story house worth a fucking $500,000 and acquiring, a family and a life and a career and like acquiring all those things has made me a better person. Like they worked together, trying to be a better person, trying to get those things all coincided. So I didn't grow into beating my wife. So yeah, I could judge this dude. Yeah, fuck him, man. Fucking dirtbag. Guy's a dirtbag. But I did want to play the video that I bring up. All this to say, this isn't just my assumption of what he did the other day, because what he posted, where is it? I gotta go to the group chat. Gotta go to the group chat because you can't find shit on Twitter. Hopefully it's not gone. Here we go. Let's cue this up so it can play. Come on. So it's John and his wife in a car, and she's got a ton of makeup on and her hair done, and they're facing, the camera, and listen to the song, and they're kissing and just saying, and they have this smile of like, ha, we're still together, like this. It's one of the cringiest fucking things I could ever imagine posting. I couldn't imagine posting it as a normal civilian, as just an average non-celebrity, non-athlete, non-rich guy, as just a normal dude. I couldn't imagine beating my wife, my family and friends knowing about it, and then 2 days later posting a story with her done up in makeup, and because her lips finally, not swollen anymore, and kissing each other and just looking like, ha, we're still together. You couldn't bring us down. You tried. Dude, I've been on the internet long enough to watch people do terribly cringy shit. Maybe I'll start doing that and going back deeper into my Facebook and like old screenshots I have, because I used to just screenshot cringy shit my friends and things and people would do and family members would do, because like, this is just trash. This is what trash poor people do. This is what poor trash people do on Facebook and MySpace and Instagram. I'm aging myself. Jon Jones is a trash can of a human being. He's low class. Like literally low class. It's that video, like, man, that video, it had me shook, man. The first couple of times I watched it, it was like akin to watching a cartel hostage video. That bitch has Stockholm syndrome. Girl, whatever your name is, you gotta go. Sue this motherfucker. Girl, there's a reason you're not married. There's a reason you're still engaged. He knows the second he signs that dotted line. You guys are probably in negotiations. That's why he's beating your ass, because he wants you to get nothing, and you're like, no, because I'm gonna get married and pull the plug, because girl, I know you want your check, but just sue this motherfucker. Document everything that's happened to you and take him to court. Get your settlement that way, because I know he's your meal ticket. I know he's the ticket to you and your kids having a better life, and that's why you're putting up with this shit. But it's just like, dude, like, as a child of somebody who went through domestic violence, as the descendant of men who hit women, like literally my dad, my grandfather, and as a child of abuse, like, trust me, girl, the only thing you can do is run. Because the longer you stay, the more fucked up you're going to be, and the more time you're going to waste, and the more damage he's going to do to you physically and psychologically. But whatever. But that video, man, dude, the Jon Jones is a motherfucking terrorist. Like, I posted a tweet about it. Follow me, hit me up, Audibly Fat on Twitter. Follow Audibly Fat on Twitter, at Audibly Fat, all one word, no bullshit. Not real Audibly Fat 1, just Audibly Fat. Dude, like, Jon Jones is a literal terrorist. Jon Jones is a member of the Taliban. I'm saying it right now. This guy is a member of Al-Qaeda, ISIS. Dude, what a piece of shit. So I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to touch on that for a second. And I don't know. And you know what's funny is, as I get older, I kind of like look at some people. I'm like, man, like, well, what's wrong with them? Is it CTE? Is it addiction? Is it drug use? Is it psychological? It's just like, who gives a fuck? There's too many people on planet Earth to sit here and go, oh, let's fix them all. Fuck it, dude. He's a throwaway human. Throw him away. He beats the mother of his children in front of them in 2021. Not in 1972, not in 1944, not in 1912, didn't make any of those okay, but those were far more socially acceptable. This is just, with everything we know, with people, he just refuses. He's just out here terrorizing this bitch. And it's fucking nuts, man. It's fucking nuts, dude. I don't know how anybody could ever say they're a Jon Jones fan. I don't give a fuck about talent. Talent can suck a dick. Talent can go scratch, dude. Fuck talent. The fuck out of here. I don't care about talent. Like I said before, I root for the underdog, dude. I'm an underdog type of guy. I don't know. It's hard to just be like, oh wow, you're the best. I hope you stay the best. It's just fucking weird. Fuck John. What else I want to talk about? Baseball. I went to the Giants game on Sunday. I don't know if I've podcasted since then. No, I haven't, because I did it Friday and I went 2 days later. I went to the Giants game for Joey's birthday. They won in the ninth inning on a 3-run shot. We had a great time. We were on TV back in the Bay. My whole family Giants'd out. It was fucking dope. Yeah. Giants are on a fucking roll. The magic number is 1. The game starts here in about an hour or so. 1 o'clock Bay Area time, so that'll be 2 o'clock my time. So yeah, about an hour and a half. Yeah, dude, I'm fucking stoked. I fucking love baseball. And I hate football now. The older I get, I don't know if I've talked about this, but I fucking can't stand football, and I just love baseball. And the Giants are the best team they've ever been in my entire life, and now statistically, they're the best team they've ever been in their history, or one of. They're about to tie the best team they've ever been in their history, as far as the regular season goes. Yeah, man, it's fucking awesome. Baseball's fucking awesome. Football can suck a dick. I can't stand it now. The older I get, every year, it's just the rules change, and it's just constant. You could just see it. You could just see it being manipulated as you watch the game. You could just see it happening, and it's just awful. It's why I like mixed martial arts and baseball. In principle, I like boxing, but I've watched enough boxing matches to know that that's one of the most corrupt sports in human history as well. Timothy Bradley, Manny Pacquiao, don't get me started, dude. It's all fake. When they want to fix a fight, it goes to a decision. Anything's up in the air, which is so. But yeah, baseball is just a pure sport. I know, as a white guy, I can go back 100 years. And see the same sport being played. I'm sorry. Oh shit. You can see the same sport being played with just worse equipment. Now it's just not the same with, you can't say the same for for any of these other sports, basketball, football. But you can say that. You can say that for baseball. Baseball is awesome. That's why people love soccer, is because it just stays what it is. And it should. That's what it should. Not everything needs to change. Change is the only constant, but not everything needs to. Some changes is retarded. You're just trying to make more money, and it's terrible. So I went into a thing about baseball a couple weeks ago about this fan I dealt with, and the Rockies specifically. But no, we were at the Giants game the other day, and it was a far better time. We had a whole row to ourselves, pretty much. It was a much actually far more packed game. It's because it was the last Giants game in Colorado of the year, and we wanted to send them off to go win a World Series, But I was thinking when we were there, is they did what do they do? You seventh inning stretch. You stand for America the Beautiful and God Bless America, right? So they did, and then maybe it's the national anthem beginning of the game. So you don't stand. I don't stand. I don't take off my hat, right? I'm an edgelord. So I just chill because, it doesn't, not every sporting event requires my re-allegiance and my recital of dedication to die for this dumb fucking country, and this dumb flag, which I don't care about, what I don't identify with, really. So I don't. And then the seventh inning stretch comes and they do it again. So now it's America the Beautiful, and everyone stands up, and I can hear every time since I was a kid. I've done this. I've not since I was a teenager, since I could think for myself, since I understood that we were just bombing the other side of the world. And I was like, wait, and everyone was like, no, you have to. And I, as a kid, had empathy. As a child, you have empathy for other people, and we're like, no, we're hurting people. That's not fair. I didn't understand in a geopolitical sense, what anybody was saying, but I just was like, no, that's fucked up. So it was weird. The military jerk off I've known since I was a child is weird. So I've just never stood. So I've always had comments at A's games, Giants games, Raiders games, Niners games, Warriors games, Kings games. Fucking people say something if you don't take your hat off. I never fucking do. Ever. And then, so they do it again at a game. America the Beautiful, and most of my family, we kind of sit. My mom will kind of stand. Me and my wife will sit. My brother will sit. My mom, she's definitely, she has the Catholic guilt. She's older than us, so she's had 30 more years, 25 more years of indoctrination. So she stands, and she's always like nudging me, like, Darren, stand up. But it's only because people are looking and commenting. But I don't stand up for that. But then they always do take me out to the ball game. Now I'll stand and take off my hat because I said a tweet about it, but it's true. And I realized why. I will stand and take off my hat and sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" and clap and cheer because I enjoy it. It's not the participation part. It's not being a part of the masses I don't want to do. It's I don't feel the need to symbolize my allegiance to this weird nation. We're not North Korea, and any aspect that is North Korea or Soviet-like, I don't like about this place. So the Pledge of Allegiance in school, I didn't like. I don't like these things. When you think about what they are and you keep them, I've never let them fall out of context as to what it is. It's creepy. I've never, since I was in grade school, let it fall out of context as to how weird it is that we would do that. And how weird it is that we would criticize someone like China or Russia or North Korea for being this weird, totalitarian state when we are doing this. It's a weird jerk off. I've hated it. I hate how that's another reason you hate the NFL. Three or four fucking baseball games a year, they're in camo. It's just fucking constant. Let's just remind each other that we blow up children and jerk off the people that were forced to blow up children at the behest of corporations. It's a terrible jerk off. But I will stand and I will take my hat off and I will fucking sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game, because baseball's never blown up babies. Okay? But America has. Baseball was racist. Not baseball the sport. Major League Baseball had racist policies. And you know what they did? They did an about face before the country did, before the civil rights movement did, before legislation did, and before other sports did. They did an about face and said, you're right, we should be inclusive. And it's a sport dominated ever since by non-whites. Latin Americans dominate the sport. A lot of, the two best players to ever exist are black. Willie Mays and Barry Bonds, and there's literally no argument. You literally don't have another player you can argue. There isn't one. There is not another player you can argue. Not Babe Ruth, not Mantle, not DiMaggio, not Gehrig, nobody. There's no one on their level. They're even Griffey. Griffey, as a kid, I knew it was Barry Bonds, Griffey is 1B, and the rest of the league. Really, like that. So baseball. If you watch Ken Burns' baseball, he tells you everything you need to know. It tells the story of this country. It tells us socially. It socially tells you the story of this country about how we were as a people. It's not a direct reflection of, the corporate murder the other side of the planet, but it's a definite microcosm of American history. So it's a far more pure sport. It's a far more honest sport. If football was like baseball, they would be like, hey, football is deadly and kids shouldn't play it until they're 18. They would acknowledge that. They would play it the way it should be played, and as a sport at your own risk. Because right now it is a sport at your own risk, and they're pretending it's not, and kids get hurt, and grown men get hurt, because no one's actively talking about how it's literally a risk. And there's players that wouldn't play if, I'm telling you, there's dudes in the league right now, had they been told that at a young age, and never would have, they'd be playing basketball or something else. Yeah, I don't know. I just love baseball, dude. And the Giants are the shit. We're going to win the World Series again. Magic number's 1. If we win tonight, we win. The division, we win tomorrow, we win. Their fate is in our hands. Our destiny is in our hands. It's fucking great. I say we, I say our, because I am a Giants fan. Through and through. Baseball fan through and through. Football can suck a dick. My main gripe with football now is about last year in 2020, they didn't change the rules. They change the rules every offseason. They didn't change the rule about holding, but they stopped calling holding. They just stopped. But the rule is not changed. The language is not changed. So what that tells me is when it comes down to January and December and February, they're just going to call holding like they did to the Niners against the Chiefs. They just were like, oh, holding. But you see holding on every play now. And every single play, you see defenders throwing up their hands, being tackled to the ground. Tackled. And it's like, yeah, go on my Twitter. People tried to shit on me because I was like, dude, do you not read the language of holding? Watch the highlight Brian Baldinger just posted and tell me 70% of those plays are not the definition of holding. But yeah, I'm an idiot. This is why I don't like this sport. It's because Peyton Manning every year lost to the Patriots and Ty Law and Bill Belichick's great defense and had to change the rules every year. And the NFL has been addicted to changing the rules for ratings ever since. And now we have to pretend that 5,000 yards is normal. Like, this isn't, if it was football, it would never happen. In a 60-minute real football game, it would never happen. But when you allow defenders to not even defend, they can't touch, they can't run with, and they can't tackle. So it's the dumb sport. It changes every year. And then when you talk to football fans, they're so rabid and retarded because we all played football. All of us played football. All of us played it. And everyone acts like, oh, you're not a fan. Do you not know? And it's like, dude, 37 seconds, no timeouts is all the time in the world. Since when? Stop and think. You've been watching football and playing football your whole life. Since when? That's not even enough time in a video game. You can't pull that off in Madden against me. No one is going to pull off being down by 4 or down by 2 or down by 1. Even in a field goal can win it. You are not going to beat me in any version of any Madden on any console with 37 seconds and no timeouts and a touchback. Take the touchback. It ain't going to happen. But in the modern NFL, it does. And it's just, dude, I'm not going to pretend that this is a real sport and that they're playing the same game every year. They change the goddamn rules every fucking season. And I'm supposed to stay engaged? And no. And don't get me started with baseball too. Don't like the fucking DH. Do not like the runner on second to start extra innings. So yeah, you're not innocent here. You're just you're less of a offender. You're an offender too, baseball. You're on my short list. And I know I'm sounding like a boomer now, but these are dumb fucking rule changes. They're dumb. They are dumb. Speeding things up is dumb. You too, David Chase in The Sopranos. What did you do? Why did you cut 40 minutes off the fucking movie? It would have just made it better. I wouldn't have hated that Italian broad. I wouldn't have been like, shut up. They're just skipping through important fucking wise guy scenes, and then they spend this time showing her ugly, weird, tiny head. She wasn't that pretty. She's not that aesthetically pleasing. You didn't have to focus on it. You didn't have to show her to get 4 nuts busted in her. It was weird. This is like, come on, let's just tell a story here. So they speed up football, they're speeding up baseball, and it's bad. I don't like it, and I don't care if I sound like a boomer. We need to respect boomers more. That's the thing, man. Like I fell into that too, blaming boomers for anything, blaming Zoomer. Everybody's just looking for someone to blame. There's no one to blame. We're all fucked. Humans suck. We ruin everything. You get something beautiful, you ruin it. That's what we do. Like Jon Jones, you know? No one's like Jon Jones. Fucking piece of shit. Jon Jones is a piece of shit. That's going to be my first fucking merch. Jon Jones is a terrorist. My first shirt is going to be Jon Jones is a motherfucking terrorist. Because he is. That and the Many Saints of Letdown. Oh, man. Oh, no, my phone fell. Damn. Anyways, all right. I think it's time to get out of here. I think I've said everything I need to say. Let's go through my notes real quick. Yeah, it's looking. Yep. That's all I have to say. All right, I'm going to go look up Indigo Children because I don't know what those are. And then I'm going to go try and watch anything news-related or anything topical that doesn't refer to homeless people or this dumb vaccine or this dumb mandate. Fuck the mandate. Don't want anything to do with it. I think I might get fired at my job for it, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm not gonna take a corporate. Oh, you know what it is. I was telling my mom yesterday. I got COVID. I got it beginning of last year or beginning of this year. It fucked me up, but I survived. And I have plenty of antibodies, and I think I'm good now, and I'm just going to rely on that. And I don't really want to introduce another man-made juice into me. Anybody's going to force me to, I'll just move on, because I don't think that's going to hold up. But yeah, and I don't want to talk about it. So anyways, I'm going to go avoid anything with those two topics. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good weekend. And it's, again, fuck Jon Jones. Peace.